Right then, it's time to adjourn to our Anglesey track for a famous fifth gear shootout. The mission is simple: put two like-minded cars together and find out which one's quickest. And this time it's a couple of pocket rockets. These baby hot hatches are in a market of their own, tiny, nimble, fun and cheap. In the silver corner is the VW Up GTI. Yes, you heard me right, I said an Up GTI. This is the first time that prestigious GTI badge has been passed down to the Up. The Up boasts 115 horsepower, which will get you to 62 in 8.8 seconds and push it on to 122 mile an hour. It'll cost you just £13,700, but can it KO the competition? And that competition is waiting in the yellow corner. The Suzuki Swift Sport, a fifth gear favourite since the original was launched in 2006. It's got 140 horsepower, which is enough for a 0 to 62 of 8.1 seconds and a top speed of 130. It'll cost you £18,500. On paper, it's quicker than the Up, but as we know on fifth gear, it's not all about power. A well-sorted chassis could give the VW the Up a hand. I'm going to start with a Swift.
Now, previous versions of the Swift had a 1.6 litre normally aspirated four-cylinder engine, and this new version has actually got a 1.4, but Suzuki have added a turbo. And would you believe the performance and power figures have actually gone up? They've also managed to shave an amazing 80 kilograms off the weight. So now it comes in at 975 kilograms. So I reckon it's going to be a bit spicy, actually, quite good fun. Do you know what? I mean, I'm doing 110 mile an hour in this little thing now. And we've got a 6-speed gearbox, but the gear change is nice. All right, let's see what the chassis is like.
On the turn-in, the steering is pretty responsive, but I'm struggling for traction.
There's a little bit of understeer on the way out.
This sport model is 15mm lower than the standard Swift, 40mm wider, and it rides on stiffer suspension.
Yeah, and all that's quite important because, as a general rule of thumb, small cars tend to be quite tall relative to their width, which means they suffer from roll. Now, this car's got a lower centre of gravity and therefore should be more stable. Yeah, there's a bit of roll, but it's not excessive.
Time for a hot lap.
There is a point where I can't accelerate any earlier in some of the slow corners because I just get understeer. So I've got to try and use the chassis on the entry phase of the corner to improve the lap time. So carry more energy in, just like that. Come on, you little Swift. Right, come on, more than 110. I think we're going to just do 111. 111. Come on, power, power, no wheel spin. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. That's all right. All right, come on, dash to the line, and bang.
The nippy little Swift crosses the line in 1 minute 25 seconds. Let's see what the VW Up GTI can bring to the table.
So the Up has got less power, and it's 100 kilograms heavier than the Suzuki, but it does have the VW GTI DNA, so let's not be hasty. I mean, you can feel it's got less power for sure, but the chassis is better, much more grip, although it has got traction control, which I just simply cannot find a button to turn it off because it does keep interrupting my progress and changing the attitude of the car.
I was able to turn the power-killing traction control off on the Swift, and that's bound to make a difference to lap time.
Oh, let's see what top speed we can get to. We're almost 8 miles an hour slower at the same point than we were in the Suzuki. Yeah, this is without doubt got a much more quality feel to it. You know, it feels like it's better engineered. Steering's more precise. Yeah, it probably rolls about the same sort of amount, considering it's only got a 1 litre engine. You know what, it's pretty good.
But can it match the lap time of the Swift?
Time for a quick... Yeah, definitely less understeer than the Suzuki in the fast corners. Let's have a look here.
At the first checkpoint, the Up is half a second slower than the Swift.
But it's definitely going to lose out down the straights. Yeah, I mean, I'm 10 mile an hour off where I would be in the Suzuki. And your brakes aren't quite as sharp as the Swift, but they have got a nicer feel. Come on, it's going to be close, but I reckon the Suzuki's going to have it.
And by the second checkpoint, the Up is 1.5 seconds behind.
2 more corners to go. Let's have a look. Get in here quick. Right, up to the line. And stop the watch.
By the end of the hot lap, the Up is a whopping 4 seconds behind the lighter and more powerful Swift. Although the VW felt more premium and had a great chassis, on track, it's just not quite swift enough to beat the Suzuki.